In addition to SBIR data rights, Phase 3 brings with it the right to sole source contracts, exemption from SBA size standards for a procurement, no limits on the dollar size of a Phase 3 procurement, a right to the Phase 3 mandate by which the SBIR firm has a right to be awarded a future Phase 3 award to the greatest extent practicable, the right to receive subcontracts for Phase 3 work on a sole source basis, and the ability to pursue research and development, services, products, production, or any combination of those under a Phase 3. Let's take a look a little closer at each one of these. The right to receive a sole source funding agreement is a key Phase 3 right. This right is expressly provided in the SBIR Reauthorization Act as well as in the SBIR STTR Policy Directive. The right to sole source contracts stems directly from the SBIR firm's data. The government is prohibited from disclosing SBIR data to a private firm outside the government. Hence, the government cannot make an award to another firm for work or a product that the government cannot even describe to that other firm. This non-disclosure obligation creates the imperative, the necessity to deal only with the SBIR firm that developed the SBIR data in the first place. Now, the right to receive sole source awards is a real benefit to the government as well. The sole source award avoids the arduous process the government must go through to compete a requirement, including planning the procurement, developing the solicitation, soliciting proposals and evaluating them, sending out questions to offerors, making an award decision, and then having it protested and held up in litigation. The entire process can take years. A sole source award can be made in a matter of months or even weeks. The SBA SBIR STTR Policy Directive even dictates the justification that an agency can and must use when the award is made. The justification reads that the new award must derive from, extend, or complete prior SBIR effort and be funded with non-SBIR funds. That's all that's required. Nothing could be easier. Fast, quick, and easy. That is what an SBIR sole source award represents to the government. Phase 3s are also exempt from SBA size standards. SBIR firms can grow to any size and still get Phase 3s for their technologies. Additionally, because of this exemption, a large firm can purchase the small SBIR firm and still receive Phase 3s for the SBIR firm's technologies because of this exemption from the size standards. Phase 3s can also be for any dollar amount. There is no limit on Phase 3 awards like there are on Phase 1s, $150,000, or on Phase 2s, $1 million. Small firms have reportedly received Phase 3 awards in amounts of hundreds of millions of dollars because of this lack of a size limit on Phase 3 awards. Coupled with the right to receive sole source awards, this would seem to represent an opportunity for federal officials and agencies to gain access to SBIR technologies that are faster, better, cheaper than existing ways of doing things. The 20-year SBIR data rights protection period allows the SBIR firm not only to commercialize a product, but also to sell it for an adequate number of years to recoup its investment in the technology. This also allows the SBIR firm to sell its technology or the SBIR firm itself to a buyer with an assurance that the valuable SBIR data underlying the SBIR firm's technology will not be disclosed anytime soon. Another valuable Phase 3 right is what is known as the Phase 3 mandate. This mandate states that a Phase 3 must be awarded to the SBIR or the STTR developer to the greatest extent practicable, consistent with the agency's mission. This is the other side of the sole source right. Not only can an SBIR firm receive a phase 3 sole source, but the government in fact must award a phase 3 to the SBIR firm that developed the phase 3 technology to the greatest extent practicable. The phrase, to the greatest extent practicable, provides a very narrow exception to the mandate. However, it is exactly that, a very narrow exception. It would seem that it would almost never be possible to justify why it is not to the greatest extent practicable to award continuation of a technology to the firm that first invented it. Furthermore, the same SBIR firm proved the technology's feasibility, researched it, and is passionate about developing it into a usable product. One legitimate reason for advancing an SBIR firm's technology through another firm would be that the SBIR firm went bankrupt, say out of business, or otherwise is no longer able to deliver the product. Few other legitimate reasons can be imagined. This is especially true because SBIR firms have the capability to team with or subcontract to larger firms to enhance their overall capabilities to perform larger contracts. SBA has strengthened this phase 3 mandate in its directive by requiring federal agencies to justify in writing to the SBA why they did not award a phase 3 to the SBIR firm that developed the technology. An additional constraint on this attempt to work around the SBIR firm is the non-disclosure obligation. The agency would have to make the award of the phase 3, which would derive from extend or complete a prior SBIR funding agreement without disclosing any SBIR data to the firm it desires to award to. If such an attempt seems impossible, that is because it is. There's almost no exception to the non-disclosure obligation to try to attempt to make such an award to other than the SBIR developer. So one would think that the phase 3 mandate would require federal agencies in every case to award SBIR technologies to SBIR firms. Such is not the case. Agencies sometimes wish to obtain the benefit of SBIR technologies without the restrictions that SBIR awards bring with them. That is why vigilance and an understanding of phase 3s is essential to preserving SBIR technologies and SBIR data rights. Phase 3 status can also apply to subcontracts. Subcontracts can be phase 3s, and phase 3s can be subcontracts. This is important because the Department of Defense, NASA, and the Department of Energy, for instance, and other large agencies like to deal with large firms and insert SBIR technologies into their missions through large prime contractors. While this is perfectly acceptable, many of the employees in these large firms are not fully aware of SBIR laws and regulations. They're not used to having their subcontracts restricted or having the small subcontractor wield so many rights. This can lead to friction and problems in the relationship. Nevertheless, most times the large firm employees can be provided with information about the small firm's SBIR rights and will accept them. Phase 3 activities are unlimited. They can be for research, research and development, services, products, production, or any combination of those. Thus, there are no limits on the type of products, services, or activities for which an agency can make use of a phase 3. This flexibility makes the phase 3 an extremely useful tool for agency officials looking for faster, better, cheaper ways of accomplishing their missions. Taken together, these phase 3 rights are valuable not only to the SBIR firm, but to the government as well. More and more government officials are learning to incorporate SBIR technologies into their missions, making those missions more cost-effective and efficient. We hope this close examination of Phase 3 rights has been helpful.